All right, man. Welcome to the Homeland Daily. My name is Dane. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to episode 64. We like to call this our Monday. Happy Tuesday. I don't want to say Tuesday. You don't have to know what day it is. This is a generic day. This is all illusion. This could be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
What are days? Days no longer exist post-COVID.
COVID has taught us that days do not exist. Okay, so today, whatever day you want to make it. My name is Dane. Let me introduce the rest of the members of the show. Let's jump into the beautiful and talented filmmaker, entrepreneur. She is CAYMAN into the bone. I think Guyanese too, right?
Yes.
Okay, boom. See, I got that right. Somewhat American. We're going to find that.
I am 0% American.
You don't know? Did you do Ancestries.com? You don't know that. You might be like 5% American.
Who shows up as American on Ancestry? That's a land of immigrants. Ain't nobody originated there. Anyway, Native Americans, no offense. My apologies.
You may be the first. Give it up for Liz Charles, man. What's up, Liz?
Hey, y'all. I'm so happy to be with you today. I am very tired, but I am excited, and you give me life.
Repetition becomes reputation. I am missing your benediction. What's going on?
First of all, Dane, I don't like the way that you calling me out on these streets, on these internet streets.
This is my selfish needs. I need you to put me to bed.
What had happened was, it was a thing. I'm going to get it this week for you, though. And I'm going to give you a shout out. I'm going to be like, Dane Ramoon.
I love that. Please do
Made me do it. I did it for that.
I miss it, man. That's Liz Charles right there. Let's also introduce our third member of the show. It's actually in no given order at all, to be honest with you. I just wanted to put ladies first, but give it up to singer-songwriter and producer, entrepreneur, Rico Rolando. I don't know where my mind was, Rico, for a second. How you doing, bro?
You know, I'm feeling pretty good. Today is Tuesday. Thankful Tuesdays, thoughtful Tuesdays, whatever it all is. But I'm super excited for this week. It's going to be super busy. And yeah, hopefully I get to go to the beach at some point, but we'll see.
Show off.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, have you done any staycation? Well, you did. We saw you in an institution.
He was in East End.
Yeah, he was. And we knew that because the internet was really was going some ways. But there's some people that have been on like their fifth staycation, like 6, 7 staycation. What's going on?
Instagram, the way people saying at Seafire these days at the Kinta.
It's facts though, honestly. Like, and I'm seeing like the same people every weekend. So I'm like, are you there during the week? I'm like, how is this working?
It had me looking up the rates. I was like, yo, what are these staycation rates? There are people there every weekend.
They're good, but you're taking. I'm gonna be real. Maybe I might get some heat from this, but I'm just gonna be very honest. The staycation rates at the Kimpton is good, but it's scarce. Like, it's like, I don't know if I would. I mean, I've done it, but I'm saying to myself, I don't know if I could attempt to do it a second time again, because I would feel guilty about it. But hey, everybody's enjoying their staycation, man.
Yeah, it makes me really jealous. I just want everyone who's posting on Instagram. And I'm going to give a special shout out to Janine, our former guest, because her photos are so beautiful that she posts on Instagram, Free to be Janine. And she's a yogi, and she just looks like she's having the most peaceful, joyful time of her life. And I want it.
Listen, man.
Same.
Tell you guys something. Does New York not have a beach, Liz? Do you not have a beach in New York? Are you afraid to catch something when you come out?
Dang. Did you not see the other day a viral video that went like crazy on TikTok about the whole New York Sea? It's kind of crazy. It's crazy.
I haven't seen that because of my age, but you said it was on TikTok. But whatever it said, it was true, because I'd be looking at that water like, when you've been in CAYMAN, we get real, our standards are elevated.
Yeah,
We sound
bougie.
ignorant, but we do sound ignorant to talking. I don't know, ignorant is not the wrong word, but we do sound like we're posh when we're talking about the beach.
Oh, bougie as hell. We're water bougie.
Like, you can't tell me anything about your beach. I don't even want to hear you finish your sentence. Like, this is not a sand. This is not a beach. I don't know if that water. I don't know if I'm going to come out alive in your water.
Precisely. A needle might hit me. I don't know.
Yeah. So we keep it as normal as possible. Well, guys, listen, just so we can keep the time functional, because we are broadcasting on Logic TV also, we're going to jump into the entertainment report. And this is definitely a different type of entertainment report. We're going to be focusing a little bit on what's going on here on the island. I only got 2 top stories for you, so let's see what's on the agenda, shall we?
It's now time for your entertainment report.
So amazing that this is my life.
Exclusively on the Homeland Daily.
Yep. Well, we know we are in the height of hurricane season, and just in time, man. It's like September could not wait. That's what this year has been telling us. I'm not waiting on nobody. I'm going to send double the storms at the Caribbean this year. All right. And this has been a big concern, I think, as of today, because these storms, when they first came out, now they were very medium storms. Nothing was predicted. They weren't a threat to the Caribbean at all. But in the last 2 days, or right after the weekend, I should say, the Hurricane Center has been paying a lot of attention on these 2 storms. Now, the second one is at high risk, and it looks like it's projected to be in the path of Florida, something that Florida does not need right now. But let's also bring it down to the orange section there. That's still a minor system. We can't even call it a storm yet. That's projected to actually pass the south of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands about this weekend, early next week. So we're going to keep a close eye on these 2 systems and see what takes place. But I will tell everybody, we are in the height of hurricane season. The best things for you guys to do is to be prepared. So get your stuff. Don't wait for the last minute. Don't wait till Foster start to say you can only buy 2 cases of water. Go get your 7 cases. Go get your 8 cases now. I wouldn't do panic. I'm not promoting panic shopping, but I'm just saying be prepared. Start stacking up. Like Rico always say, conspiracy is real. So if you want to stack your house up, listen, I know folks that are going on Amazon and buying food that lasts for 10 years. That's crazy. Like, people are actually doing that. Stop acting like you wouldn't do it.
No, 10 years? That's plastic, bro. If you eating 10-year-old food.
I mean, it's canned goods. It's canned goods. It has preservatives in it. It's fine. It's tuna. It's baked beans.
What do you guys think about this hurricane season? Are you guys concerned about it? Are you guys concerned about 2020 versus hurricanes? Because this might be a different hurricane season.
Yeah. For me, I mean, look at Buddy Old Orange in the guy. Nah, like that's getting way too close for comfort right now. For me, personally, I think he needs to either go down or go up or whatever he wants to do. But I mean, I wish nothing on any other country, obviously. But I mean, CAYMAN is just.
That's what you just said, though. I'm just gonna put that out.
What are you gonna do this for, though?
I'm just
I just want to be able to, live comfortably next month, because I know we can't go out anywhere. We can't fly to the U.S. where we would like to go for hurricane. No, we staying here. So the best thing for orange blue shirt is to either go up or go down. But
guys, I don't know if you know, but I used to train to become. I actually attended flight school in my earlier years, so I will grab a plane and disappear.
If we just we show up for the show and Dane is not around, just know Ish got real and Dane took a plane and left us all. Cool.
We're broadcasting in Liz's apartment, New York City. Just gonna knock on the door and show up with the whole family. That's what we do. We family, right, Liz? Welcome, everybody.
So yeah, I feel like 2020 has had enough issues on it.
Yeah.
Like it would be lovely if we could just go through this season peacefully. Like, we're nearly there. I just want to get through the rest of it peacefully.
Yeah.
You guys. All right, man, moving on to the entertainment report. This is definitely one that's viral here on the island. A lot of parents have been talking about this, and I want to get your opinion on this, guys. The government has actually put out a statement that's saying all kids, when they return to school as of August 26th, that's for government school, because private school would start on September 2nd. Triple C will even start a little bit earlier, but the government guidelines is that all students and teachers, staff members are required to wear a mask while they're in school. Now, this is not just a mask when you get into the classroom, you can take it off and breathe. No, they want your 4-year-old to go and possibly get an asthma attack or something. And I am not for this at all. I know, Liz, listen, I saw your face when I said that. But I'm trying to paint a picture. I'm trying. I don't care how gruesome it sounds or how horrible it sounds. I hope a member of the government is listening. We should not do this at all. We should not implement that a 4-year-old walks into a classroom, walks into school the whole damn day and wear masks. Like, it's already hard for them to concentrate on their education. Listen, I have learned a lot about being a teacher for the last 3 or 4 months. I don't like it, by the way. I hate it, and I respect our teachers a whole lot more. There was a couple of times I considered putting my kids under duct tape, like real talk. Like I was gonna duct tape them. I looked up stuff, and I was like, "Yo, the door is too gruesome because it's hot, but the floor, as long as I put them under the AC vent, that might work." But I'm a great dad, so
I'm not a
I
parent.
stayed far away from that. But
I'm not a parent.
if you were, you would consider it.
But
All parents-
they'll be
all parents would
fine.
consider that.
Honestly, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's a mask. It's okay. Listen, if these kids in
I'm
New
not
York
fine.
City can be out here in these New York streets wearing their masks, you got like 3-year-old babies toddlers wearing masks, like, because everybody 2 and over has to wear a mask. They're fine.
First of all, don't compare the kids in New York City.
I mean,
two complete different types. One has been taught to survive under any.
That's what it is. We need to teach our children how to survive. Okay, toughen them up.
I guess so.
I mean,
man. We'll see. What do you think, Rico?
I mean, for me, it's kind of like a tough decision too, because obviously I want my child to be healthy. I want my child to be safe when they're in school. But it's like, when I think about how hot it is already in Cayman, and like if they're going
AC
to
in school.
yes, okay, yes, I get the whole inside. But what if they're like on the field, they're running up and down, they have a mask on, that they can barely breathe as it is? I don't know. For me,
Yeah,
that's
they
kind
might
of
not be able to do PE.
that's the only part I don't agree with. But I mean, for right now, until COVID is like completely out of our lives and we know that we're all safe, I think it's best to just still wear the mask and protect ourselves at all times. So.
The issue is that it's not as though kids, like, because kids are less likely to die from COVID or get affected by COVID, that like it's okay for them to get affected by COVID, because those kids go home to parents. So, and those parents then go home to their parents, and that's an elderly person now. And now you got it within the community. So unless, like Trevor Noah said, unless we're living on Lord of the Flies world, kids gotta wear their masks.
Yeah, it is hot though. I agree with Rico. Like I'm delusional when I go out to go shop. Like I see like flies popping up telling me they're going back to Africa. That's how difficult it is here.
You understand?
It's very difficult. I'm serious. It's not even funny. Like I get very delusional when I go to Foster's and go out to the heat for a little bit. It is way too hot. We need to have like really, really aggressive meetings with our government about that. Changing the sunlight. What do you guys think?
I agree. Let's get to it.
All right, guys, that is your entertainment report. Thank you so much for putting up with us that long. We have a very special guest waiting in the background right now. I'm actually excited to interview our guest tonight, man, because it's been a while since I've been to a pageant. Not that I say I get really excited about going to pageants, by the way, guys. I just want
Yes, you do. Come on. You know you watch it every year. Stop it, Dan. Stop.
I do. I get excited, especially when it's a future, Miss CAYMAN that's going to represent our country. That's a big deal. And may I just add that we have the most beautiful women in the world, period, the Cayman Islands. So let's give it up for Khadijah Bodden. She is here with us tonight, man. And she is Miss Cayman Islands 2019. I thought you were going all the way into 2021. But
it looked like that for a while, didn't it?
It did, man. I got really excited. I was like, yo, I don't know if she's excited, but I got really excited because I know how difficult it can be to maintain that role, man. It's a very important role, and we want to thank you for carrying that with honor and respect and just dedication. And you did it well. You did it very well. So thank you for being a part of the Homeland Daily tonight. So we want to thank you for that and just show appreciation for you to be on the show, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Khadija. So can you just tell us a little bit about what this past year has been for you since you were crowned Miss Cayman? Give us some of your highlights. You can also slip in if there are any lowlights, we want to know too. But just give us an overall of what this has been like.
Well, I guess up until March, it was really busy, and things just kind of stopped. But before then, it was, I guess, probably my biggest highlight was being able to go to Miss Universe. I mean, who doesn't want to be able to say they went to Miss Universe? And it was a really amazing opportunity. I met so many girls from all over the world. We still talk like to this day. We have a group chat with all of us that we still talk to. Up until yesterday, everyone checked in to see how each other was doing with, the whole COVID situation and stuff. So being able to be a part of that experience was probably one of my favorite things. And then also being able to be in the spotlight and connect with so many people around the island as well. I feel like it gave me an opportunity to network in a way that I don't think I would have been able to without being Miss Cayman. So I'm really appreciative of the opportunity, and it gave me a platform that I hope to do a lot of good with. So yeah, it's been a really good year up until
Up until the obvious.
Honestly, thank you so much, and we definitely appreciate your message. But what was it like for you, after months and months of training, and then all of a sudden hearing your name, Khadija Bawden, as Miss Cayman Islands? What was that feeling like for you?
It was, to be honest, I don't know. It took me a couple of weeks to wrap my head around it because it was such a quick turnaround that year. I think we only had about 2 months to prepare for the pageant, and I really only decided that, yes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand in my application. I think it was the day of orientation. So I had that 2 months to kind of wrap my head around the fact that this is what I'm actually doing. And then I won, and I was like, oh, I won too. So it was, it took me a few weeks to get used to it, but then you get into the whole groove of things, and things happened really quickly. Like it was like one day I won, and then the next day I was off to Miss Universe. So time moves very, very fast, and I can't believe it's been over a year now. Yesterday was the anniversary of my crowning, so it's been over a year now, and I can't believe it. Time moves so fast.
You have been like one of the few pageant queens that have actually been crowned during a pandemic, went into a pandemic, I would like to say.
Yeah.
How do you develop? I don't like to tell people, I don't like to ask people, what was your negative parts in COVID? How did you develop in COVID? What made you stronger? What made you better? What did you come out with?
I think at first, when everything kind of just stopped, I'd been so busy for a while, to be honest. It was kind of nice to get a little bit of break, if I'm honest. But then after a while, having been so busy for so long, it was just kind of I didn't know what to do with myself. I needed to be doing something. And of course, there wasn't really a lot to do. No one was, hosting events to attend, anything like that. So I kind of found ways to cope within myself. I invested more time, more energy into bettering myself. So I worked out more. I did lots of yoga because I needed to keep sane. I even started my own YouTube channel, and it was just a way for me to kind of keep in practice with all the things that I learned and trained for, and to just be able to still kind of feel connected, still feel like I'm doing, what I was supposed to be doing if not for COVID. So yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about prior to running for Miss Cayman? Because clearly it was you were not immediately yes, I'm gonna do this. You decided on day of.
Yeah.
So talk about what you were doing before and what some of your considerations were around signing up for Miss Cayman.
So actually, when I signed up for Miss Cayman, I was a new graduate. I just graduated a couple months ago from my master's program. And I was job searching at the time, but I was kind of in this really weird phase of life where you're a graduate, but life hasn't really started yet. So, and then the committee goes through a recruitment process. So someone from the committee actually spoke to me, and I was To be honest, like I've never really considered a pageant before. To be honest, I've never done a pageant. This was my first one, and it just, I think that conversation that I had with that person at the time, it just really made me see pageants in kind of a different way that I hadn't seen them before. And because of that, I kind of wanted to, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this because it could help other people to see pageants in a different kind of way. I think a lot of people don't really expect or didn't really expect someone like me to be doing a pageant, because I think people have like this kind of idea in their head of what pageant girls are supposed to be, but that has changed so much with the times as, you know, women have developed and really come into their own in recent years. So I kind of wanted to take this position and put my spin on it to kind of make it into something like, this is the modern day woman. You can be, you know, educated and also participate in pageants with Miss Universe. So yeah, that's kind of like my biggest thing.
Quick follow-up to that. What were you studying?
So I did my master's in regenerative medicine and I did my bachelor's in biochemistry.
Okay, so you're a STEM girl, and you were like, that's not necessarily something you see in pageants, and so you want to be able to represent for STEM. Women in STEM are rarely seen in general, much less in pageants. So you were like, I'm gonna go out there and do this. Beautiful.
Yeah, that is amazing. And you know, speaking of idea, what was the idea in your head? You know, going days before you're about to meet all these other ladies that were crowned in their different countries. What was your expectations like? Obviously, being in the room with all these other beauty pageant queens, and then to be, you know, sort of friends with the winner of Miss Universe after that. What was that like for you?
I think, well, definitely going in, I kind of had an idea of what it would be like just from talking to past queens that had participated in this universe. And, you know, they always talk about that bond that you create with the other girls is probably the most special thing from the experience. And I mean, it turned out to be true. Like you said, I developed really good friendships with a lot of the girls that participated, including Zosie, Miss South Africa, who ended up winning. So, I mean, that's a really cool thing to think like, oh, like I'm friends with Miss Universe. Like, not a lot of people can say that. And it was just an amazing experience. Literally one of a kind and so rare. To be one of 90 girls who get to participate is pretty incredible. So, yeah, definitely unforgettable experience.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of stuff that has happened over the year. And I mean, we just can't just touch on one thing. And I'm talking about local too, because we know that COVID was global. It was a global pandemic. It affected every country. It affected every human being. A lot of lives were lost. But also at the same time, there was the civil rights movement that was going on too. And so many different things that popped up. There was huge emotion around the world. And even here locally with different, you know, laws that have been placed here and things that have been placed, emotions in the LA building. You represent our country, not only from a beauty standpoint, but also from a standpoint of change. You want to see change in areas. Out of all of these things that took place, Khadija, like what is one of those things that stood out most in your mind that said, man, I want to pay more attention to this. I want to educate myself more in this, and I want to stand firmly for this.
I think, well, you definitely touched on it. This year has been a crazy year. I feel like a lot has happened. It's been one of the longest years and one of the shortest years at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but with, like you said, with the Black Lives Matter movement, I remember. Well, I don't know if any of you guys actually saw the video with George Floyd, but it was a really hard video to watch. But I think that it was kind of, I don't want to say that it was necessary, but it was one of those things where that triggered all of these things that are now in place for us to really bring about change. I think it really opened a lot of people's eyes to what actually goes on. One of the interesting things was that his case really shed light on past cases. So cases that I'd never heard about, a lot of people started talking about them again. Like, this is something that is happening. This is not just a one-time thing. This is something that has been happening. We have been trying. And it was, a lot of people talk about it's not, what did they say? I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but people talked about how it's not just a hype thing. This is, this is a movement. It's not just a movement, it's a movement. And I think it really just shed light on a lot of important things that people were unaware of, including myself. And it gave me an opportunity to be able to educate myself and to also give in places that I could. And people created a lot of resources, whether that was donating with money or using your time to donate with money, watching videos for free that could be used to donate money to organizations that are in for the Black Lives Matter movement. So it was, yeah, really, sorry.
No, there's a follow-up question to that. Because I did hear when you said that you went to university for such a long time. Have you ever experienced racial injustice?
I think other than like microaggressions, like things that you can't really, those little things that you can't really put your like finger on or like put into words. Other than that, I can't say that I have. But I mean, I'm also in the mindset that just because it hasn't happened to me doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And my, experiences definitely don't discredit the experiences of other Black people who experience, racial injustice on a daily basis.
Can you talk a little bit about what you felt like you learned and the areas in which you grew while you were educating yourself on these issues? And were there ways that you could use either and or your education and your platform as you were educating yourself to amplify the things that you were learning?
So as the Black Lives Matter movement was going on, there were protests. I remember there were protests going on, and there was also this website with a lot of really useful links. They talked about, they had resources, they had information just if you wanted to educate yourself. And one of the things actually that I saw that I could benefit from was, like you said, using my platform to bring awareness, but also to contribute financially to the cause. So actually one of the YouTube videos that I ended up making, I made it so that, I mean, my YouTube channel isn't monetized or anything, but I just made it so that people could feel a part of giving back to the movement. So I did it where for each view that video got, I matched that with $1 to be donated to a few Black Lives Matter organizations. And that's kind of how that was kind of like my way to give back, but to also encourage people to educate themselves and maybe encourage somebody else to give back as well.
Love it, man.
It's amazing. No, we know that obviously COVID has happened and it has changed a lot of things, but especially within the CAYMAN pageantry world. And I know that things are going to be a little bit different in terms of how you sort of give your crown to the next beauty queen. How is that whole process going to be like this year, especially with this whole pandemic that's going on?
Well, the process is going to be very different this year. I don't think we've ever done it like this before, but there's going to be a private ceremony where my first runner-up from last year, Mariah Tibbetts, will be crowned as the new Miss Men's Universe. And it is unfortunately invite only, but definitely necessary because of regulations and to keep it as small as possible. So that's how it's going to be this year. Just very private, a small ceremony, not long, but definitely still very special because she is a really special girl, and I know that she will do incredible things with her reign this year.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I'm happy for her too, because we interviewed her at Hurley's Media, and it was like this big thing at the radio station. Like, who's gonna win? This is difficult. These girls are really smart. They're on it. And I remember vaguely like just interviewing you both, and you guys just stood out a lot during the interview. So I'm excited to see what Maya's gonna be doing, man. Congratulations to her. What I want you to do is, there's a young girl that's tuning in right now, or a couple of them, and they're saying to themselves, man, I want to do this one day. I want to be her. I want to be someone that represents her country, studies as much as she does, to end up getting a degree, a master's degree. and also just care about lives and things that are really concerning out there. How what would you say the pageant has done for you? How can you motivate that next young person to sign up for the Miss Cayman Islands coming up in the future years?
I think definitely one of the biggest things that this participating in this pageant and this role in general has given me is just a new self-confidence that I wouldn't say that I had before the pageant. It's really self-assured me and made me really confident in my abilities, and also given me a lot of training and opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had outside this pageant, with public speaking and runway training. If you're someone who wants to maybe get into modeling, that's great for you. If you really want to improve on your public speaking and your self-confidence, again, it's something that you can get through participating in this pageant. So I would definitely say if it's something that you're interested in, just go for it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And there are going to be a lot of people supporting you, a lot more people than you think would. So, I mean, there's really nothing. I haven't met a single person who has participated in the pageant who has regretted it. So that should tell you something.
Yeah.
What's next for you, Khadija? You're about to give Mariah the crown. What's next?
Well, as you guys know, part of my package for winning was a scholarship, and something that I was actually thinking about before the pageant was doing my PhD. So now that's definitely in the cards, and I think that's probably going to be my next step. So I'm really excited about that.
Looking forward to having a Caymanian woman in STEM.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
All right, man. So we're coming close to the time where we wrap up the show. I know we've been having a little bit of a delay here for a couple of minutes, but we're glad that it worked with us as long as it did through the show. Now, we always ask at this part that you give some final thoughts, like some advice to someone out there, just in anything. It could be in what you're doing right now about chasing your masters, or just your final thoughts on how you would like to wrap up. And that we're going to leave the floor open for you for the next 30 seconds and what advice you have out there.
I guess aside from the whole pageant talk, because I have spoken a lot about what you can gain from the pageant and stuff, one thing that I really want to say, because it's something that I heard that really helped shape the direction that I took, especially with my studies, and it's that when deciding what it is you want to do, when deciding what it is, who you want to be, what you want to study, you really have to do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to school, you're the one that's going to that job, you're the one that's not going to school. So you really have to make sure that when you make those decisions, you make them for yourself, so that you're at peace with those decisions and you know you're exactly where you are and where you want to be, because that's the decision that you made. So I really, really want to encourage people. Yes, of course, listen to the advice of people who know more, your parents, your teachers, but at the end of the day, ultimately it is your decision, and you want to make sure that it has come from your heart and it's what you want to do.
Absolutely. All right, that was really good. I love that. What about you, Liz? I see that you're gearing up to probably give some advice. So let's get some advice from you also to wrap the show up.
I think that was beautiful advice on people, taking responsibility for their lives and doing things. So thank you so much, Khadija, and thank you for being on the show. My advice is to stock up, because just in case, we don't know what's going to happen. So like Dane said, go to Hurley's, Kirk's, Foster's, whichever grocery store you shop at now.
That's facts. Rico, talk to us, man.
Yeah, I think obviously I would just like to thank Khadija Borden for obviously coming through to the Homeland Daily Show. We really, really thank you for coming on the show. It's definitely been a pleasure having you on here. And like what Liz says, make sure you stock up, but don't go to the West Bay Foster's, because I need some food. That's all I'm going to say.
Man, my final thoughts are very easy, guys. It was a pleasure to have Miss Cayman Islands here with us tonight. She's given us her most important asset. That's her time. Anybody that does that knows that they definitely have a lot of respect for us, first of all. So we want to, show gratitude for you being a part of this show. And this is something I said to Liz when I was joking around with her. It was actually for everybody else and not Liz, because I know she works her butt off. but it's just that a repetition becomes reputation, and it's something I want you to remember. What you do and what you constantly do is what people know you for. That's why people know Rico as a musician, as a singer, and a great one at that. And Liz is a filmmaker. Same thing, Miss Cayman Islands, Khadija Barton. She held that title well, and that's why people, even in the comments, have said that. So she held her reputation well. And don't forget, hey, your reputation is being spoken about in the room right now. What do you want that to be talked about? How do you want that to be stated? Just be very careful and make sure that you're shining your light so people know who exactly you are. And Khadija, we want to say congratulations for shining your light so bright that people acknowledge you as someone that is shining out of control. And thank you for representing our audience. All right.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Good luck.
Good luck. Also, a quick shout out to our viewers. Caitlin, thank you so much for tuning in and for your words. Remember, if you are watching the Homeland Daily, you can comment and be a part of the conversation. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on all of your platforms.
Most definitely. We'll be back again for Thursday rerun of Entrepreneur Thursdays. If you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, you're about to start a business, you got some advice for people out there, please get in contact with us. We're on Spotify, also YouTube, Live TV, but the best way to message us is on Facebook. DM us a message or just send us a friendly email, and you can do it right now by searching the Homeland Daily. We'd love to hear from you and get you on this platform. We'll see you again on next week, Tuesday, but watch the show on Thursday for the rerun of Entrepreneur Thursdays. Have a good week, y'all. Be safe out there. That's it for us. All right. Anything you guys want to say before we leave, though? I feel like there's more to be said. Or no? Is that it? That's really it?
That's it.
So we're going to say bye? All right. Cool, man. All right. We'll see you again, guys.
Trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way.